Good morning, class. Today we are learning how to get rid of fractional coefficients. So, essential question is, how do I get rid of fractional coefficients? My learning intention. I'm learning to solve equations when I have fractional coefficients. You have a warm-up. Please pause the video and see if you can complete the warm-up on your own. Well, I hope you tried. So the first, you're supposed to answer true or false, and then give an example. The real numbers are closed under multiplication. Remember, this is our symbol for real numbers. Are they closed under multiplication? True or false? That would be a true statement. Because we can always multiply by any number, any two numbers. So an example would be -10 times 1/2. And that would give me -5. Okay, Z. What does the Z stand for? Do you remember? The Z stands for the integers. Are integers closed under addition? Can I add any two numbers together, any two integers together and get another integer? That also would be true, because I can put -5 plus 5 and I get 0. You're adding anytime you add a positive and negative, you can come up with another integer. Are the natural numbers closed under subtraction? N is for your natural numbers. Okay, think about it hard. Natural numbers do not include negative numbers, do they? So this would be false. All I have to do is to take 10 and subtract it by 20. 10 minus 20 gives me -10. -10 is not an element of the natural numbers. This symbol stands for is an element of. So to do the counter example, you use a smaller number and you subtract a bigger number, and then you'll have a negative number, which is not there. Okay, what was the Q for? Do you remember what Q stands for? Rational numbers. Okay, rational numbers are any number that can be written as a fraction, or if it's a decimal, it repeats or terminates. Are they closed under division? This also is false, but why? Okay, what about 0? Is 0 rational? Yeah. Can we divide by 0? No. So we can say that 5 divided by 0 is undefined. Any number divided by 0 is undefined. You cannot have parts of nothing. Okay, so let's think back about everything we know about fractions. How do you get rid of a fraction? How do you eliminate a fraction? What do you multiply by to make it 1? I can multiply by the reciprocal. Because of the multiplicative inverse property. Okay, so we're going to use this idea as we solve. We'll start out solving the same way that we have before. Okay, so as I'm looking at this next problem, I draw my line. I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides because I want to isolate the 3/4 x. (15 minus 6 is 9). Okay, when we multiply by the reciprocal, we get 1. And that's what we want. We want to have 1x. So I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal of 3/4. The reciprocal is where you turn it upside down. You get 4 over 3. I multiply by 4 over 3. Okay. So as I'm looking at this is 1x. So 9 divided by 3 is 3, times 4 is 12. And it makes sense because 9 has to be smaller than 12 if you're going to multiply by a fraction that's bigger than 1. Okay? If we need an example up here, if I'm looking at 4 over 5, I can multiply by 5 over 4, and I get 1. Those are examples. Okay, we still start the same way. I look at my equation, I draw my line. I need to get the numbers to one side. I've got -4. The opposite of subtracting 4 is to add 4 to both sides. 2 over 3x is equal to 5. What is the reciprocal of 2/3? 3 over 2. So this is eliminated. X is equal to. This time we cannot simplify because 2 is not a factor of 5. So 5 times 3 is 15 over 2. This is the same as (5 over 1 times 3 over 2), and then you just multiply straight across. So 15 halves, we are not going to turn it into a compound number. We will leave it as an improper fraction. Okay. Now, at this point, make a choice. Do you want us to go through one more together, or do you want to do the next one on your own? If you want to try it on your own, then pause the video and see if you've got the concept down yet. If you're still struggling, that's okay. Let's go through a couple more. So, pause the video or go through what we're doing next. Okay, I need to move the numbers to one side. I've subtracted 10. The opposite is to add 10. I've got 5 over 6a is equal to 15. What is the reciprocal of 5 over 6? Turn it upside down. 6 over 5. Okay, this time 5 is a factor of 15. 15 divided by 5 is 3. 3 times 6 is 18. 18 is equal to A. Okay, at this point I do want you to pause the video and see if you can do the next one on your own. If you can, that means you're understanding the concept. If you're still struggling, that's okay. We'll work it out together. But please pause the video now. Okay, so what does this look like? 10 equals 2/5 x minus 8. I've subtracted 8. To undo that, I need to add 8 to both sides. 18, 10 plus 8 is 18, is equal to 2/5 x. Okay, Now I'm going to multiply by that reciprocal. The reciprocal of 2/5 is 5/2. Okay, as you can see, 2 does not go evenly into 5, but it does go evenly into 18. 18 divided by 2 is 9. 5 times 9 is 45. So 45 is equal to x. Okay, once again, pause that video. See if you can do the next one on your own. If you can, then that means you are understanding the concept. Pause the video now, please. Okay, I hope you tried and that we're just doing a check of your work. 6 plus 7 halves f's. Well, I need to get rid of the 6. I will subtract 6 from both sides. Okay, 7/2x, or f, is equal to 7. Going to multiply by that reciprocal. Flip it upside down. 7/2 becomes 2/7. Okay. Cancels out over here. 1 times f means that I've simply got f left. Over here, I'm looking and I've got 7 and I'm dividing by 7. That means 1. 1 times 2 is 2. And I'm done. Okay, so if you've only got the variable on one side, you're going to multiply by the reciprocal. But what if you have variables on both sides that are the coefficients are fractional? How can I get rid of, what can I multiply both sides by to get rid of those fractions? What I am looking for is what we call the least common multiple. Okay, I've got 2/3 and I've got 3/5, and we're looking of the denominator. Okay, if they're both prime, I've got a 3, this is my denominator, I've got a 5. If they're both prime, and these two are, then your least common multiple will be 3 times 5, which is 15. So if I multiply both sides by 15, then I eliminate my fraction. Okay. 15 is divisible by 3. 15 divided by 3 is 5, times 2 is 10. I still have my parentheses. X plus 6 equals 15 divided by 5 is 3. 3 times 3 is 9. X plus 10. I'm pausing so you can think about the why of it. Okay, now we'll solve just the way we always have if we need to do distribution. So 10 times x is 10x, plus 10 times 6 is 60, is equal to 9 times x is 9x, plus 9 times 10 is 90. We're able to solve now. Get your variables to the same side, so I'll subtract 9x from both sides. X plus 60 equals 90. Okay, at this point I would hope that you knew the answer, but when we subtract 60 from both sides, then x will equal 30. So you can use you can check your answer by substituting it back in. And you should when you're doing your work if you have time and if you can do it. So go ahead and let's check. Okay, so this is going to be 30 plus 6. It needs to be equal to 3 over 5. This is 30 plus 10. Okay, 2 over 3 times 36. Is that equal to 3 over 5 times 40? Is 36 divisible by 3? Yes. 36 divided by 3 is 12. 12 times 2 is 24. Is that equal to? Okay, 40 divided by 5 is 8, times 3 is 24. 24 is equal to 24. I've checked and I have the correct answer. I know I'm successful when I can solve equations with fractional coefficients. So, remember, use the reciprocal. To get rid of fractional coefficients. If you've got them on both sides, then you'll look for the least common multiple.